Hello everyone, this is Amy Fig, and I am excited to talk to you today about my experience with past life regression hypnotherapy. So let's get started. So the reason that I even came across this is because a friend of mine said, oh, hey, a friend of a friend is going through this program and she needs volunteers to help her out. And she's doing past life regression hypnotherapy. And I was like, whoa, yes, absolutely, I want to try that. And I've known about it because I am a fan of Dolores Cannon, who is a very famous hypnotherapist. And if you don't know about her, please Google her and research her work. It's amazing. Dolores Cannon. Lots of YouTube videos and stuff. So, and she has books, so I've read her books. And she does really fascinating work in taking people back into many, many past lives. And, talking to the subconscious and talking to lots of beings. It's just fascinating work. So anyways, I went to this hypnotherapist with a few questions. I kind of texted her back and forth for a little bit, and I texted her back and forth for a little bit, and she said to bring 5 questions with me that I would want answered, and to do my own research on it. And I was like, okay, cool. So I go and I have my 5 questions, and I talk to her for a little bit so I could get comfortable with her. And then I had no idea what to expect because I've never been hypnotized before, and I kind of didn't really believe in it until I started reading about Dolores Cannon's research. So, like, when I used to see people get hypnotized at the fair and stuff, I thought it was just ridiculous and it was fake. So anyways, I have no idea what to expect. I don't even know, like, if I can be hypnotized, because I'm kind of, like, really in my thoughts a lot, and I don't know if what that's gonna do. So she kind of explained to me a little bit about how it would work, and I'm going to tell you what it feels like to be hypnotized. So, okay. It feels like you're just really relaxed, but you have this little bit of, like, numbness or kind of like fuzziness about you, like a little bit of a, kind of just, you feel fuzzy. And you feel really free to let the words come out of your mouth, and then you're very present, like, you know that you're saying it. It's just the information comes to you really clearly, and it just kind of comes out of your mouth. And so that was happening for me, and also at the same time my logical brain was going, oh, that is, like, whoa, what? Are you making this up? And then I would, like, try to add. I could feel myself trying to add details, like, I wanted to add, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. Just, like, observing it all inside my mind. And it was just the most strangest thing. One of the strangest experiences I've ever had. It just allowed for a relaxation enough to let information come through a clear channel, if that makes sense. So I think that's all I wanted to say about that. And if anyone has any questions, please comment, and I will definitely answer them. So one of the questions that I had was, what is going on with my heart lately, because I've been having these strange symptoms with my heart. It's been racing, it's been slowing way down and like clunk, thumping, skipping a beat, and just kind of been all over the place. And I did go to the doctor, had some tests done, and everything seems to be fine. They couldn't find anything wrong with it, and I know I was having fear and anxiety, panic for a little bit, and I felt like I couldn't control it, and I had some overwhelming fear maybe three weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. But there was some things going on in my life at the time that kind of made sense of why that was happening. I feel now that I might have been having like premonitions, or I don't know for sure what it was. So that was on my mind, and I wanted to see if my body could tell me, or if my subconscious could let me know what that was. So I during the course of this, we discussed my questions, but while I was hypnotized, she hadn't asked me this question yet about my heart. But so she did her technique and took me back, and at first I couldn't see anything, so I had to keep going, keep relaxing. She had to keep guiding me for a little bit, and I admit I was like, there's nothing, I don't see anything, nothing. So she would just keep relaxing me more. Very patient, very wonderful. And I ended up getting to this place and I had like a little blindfold thing on, like the ones like a sleep blindfold. And I got to this place, and she says, "Where are you? What does it look like?" So this is what it looked like. I was in an alley, and it was dark, and I was standing on a cobblestone road, and I could see buildings around me, and they were made of stone. Also, I could see the stones or brick or something in the walls of the buildings, and no one was around. And so she asked me, can you see your feet or your hands? So then in my mind's eye, I look to see, and I saw my feet, and I was wearing boots, and they had a pointy toe. And then I saw my hands, and they were women's hands, and I could see that I had one ring on, like on this finger. And the sleeves of my blouse were kind of flowy, and maybe with a ruffle or some kind of a lace or something. Nothing was like super crystal clear, just kind of, I could see it, and also I could feel it. There was a knowing that that's what it was. And I was wearing a long skirt. And I knew that my hair was long and reddish brown, and it had waves in it. So then I stayed there for a moment, and she asked me some questions, but I couldn't get any more information there. So she says, "Okay, we're gonna fast forward to another scene in this life, and just go ahead and go there. And where are you now?" So she asked me, "Where do you live? Can you go to where you live?" So I went to where I lived, and I had my own room. I lived alone, like on someone's property, and like a little quarters, just a little small house on someone's property. And I knew that my occupation was taking care of the farm animals, and I saw myself feeding chickens. And I knew that I worked for a man and his wife, and they were wealthy, and they were very busy and they needed my help. So I think that's all I got about that. And then I had in my room, I could see my room, and I had a bed, and it was kind of dark in there, but I had a table with a candle and paper and pen where I could write. So then nothing more came of that scene. And so she says, fast forward to a very important day in this life. So I immediately went to this day where I was in a courtyard. I could see it, and as I'm seeing it, I'm going, is this real? Because this reminds me of like some movies that I've seen. Like, is my mind like going back into the files of my memories of movies that I've seen and then bringing that up? Like, is that what's going on here? Because this is weird. But it wasn't like exactly like any movie I've seen. So I was in this courtyard place, like the ground was dirt, and then all around were like big buildings, stone with stones, kind of like castle type thing, but nothing real fancy. And there was like an excitement or a nervousness in the crowd, and we're waiting to see something coming through. But it was like an event, a celebration, and I saw someone had this really tall stick or like a pole, and it had ribbons at the top, and they were flying. And then I was looking, I felt like I was going like this and looking above people, like trying to see something, and I could feel like we're waiting for this group of men to come through, like if they were an army or some type of I don't know, a group of men. So she starts asking me questions about, you know, who are you looking for? Do you know why they're coming through? And I said, I'm looking for my friend. And then I had a flash of, he's my friend, and we've known each other since we were little, and his name is Michael, and I'm looking for Michael. And so I like look around, and then I don't ever see him, but I saw him as a child. And she says, did he go to war? And I said, I don't know, I think he did. I assume he did, because that's where all the boys go eventually. So I have no idea like what time frame I'm in, or like, I don't know. I did not set out to even like have that kind of a story come up. I haven't even been watching any movies like that lately or anything, so I don't know, it's just crazy. So she's like, okay, fast forward again to another very important day, a different scene. And so I fast forward, and I felt like I was holding a baby, and I saw the baby, I'm holding it, and I know that it's a girl, and her name is Rose. And I'm outside of my home. I have a home now, and I'm outside on a bench, and I can see our land. We have a really big area of land, and I have my husband is standing next to me, and it's Michael, and he's like, I couldn't see his face, but I felt like he was really tall, like muscular or like stocky build, kind of, with dark hair, and it was short. And I was telling my kids, he kind of reminded me of like the good looking Shrek, and I think it's Shrek 2 when he turns into a human. That's kind of like the build that the guy had. But so he's standing near me, and I didn't feel any of the emotions or anything going on. I could just see the scene. And then I see we're looking out across our land, and we see people coming towards us. So we're looking, and they're coming closer and closer, and they're on horses. So there's several of them, and they're just gaining ground, and we're like, I don't feel that we're scared, but we're just cautious, and we're watching. And then they get pretty close, and he says to me, okay, you can go inside now. So I go inside the house, I take the baby, and when I went inside, I could see what our house looked like a little bit. It was like nothing fancy, like stones in the walls inside again, and a stove in there. And I don't remember anything more about that scene. And then she said, so I wasn't getting like any like, I'm just looking around to see if something else happens, and nothing happens. So she says, the hypnotist says, now I would like you to go to the last day of this life that you're in right now, the very last day of this person's life that you're in. So I go to the last day. Don't ask me how I know, like, it just happens. So what I saw was that I didn't see it through my own eyes happening, but I saw it as a scene that somebody was dragging me on the ground, and I was like on my stomach, and my arms were out like this, like pulling on the dirt on the ground, and they were behind me and like dragging me from my legs. And then I knew it was several men that were doing it, and then I knew that they were pulling me into the alley. It was in the middle of town, so people can see it, and then they pulled me into the alley, and then I started to feel the emotion of it. And then my hypnotist says, okay, you don't have to feel it, you don't have to feel the emotion, you can observe this and see it for what it is. So I was able to pull out of it a little bit and see it for what it was. And what they were doing was, so in my mind I said, okay, I want to see this for what it is. And what came to me was that the men in town did not like what I was doing. And what I was doing was showing the other women how to center themselves and calm themselves, so that they could be able to receive intuitive messages from the universe, from God. So where we lived, and then the time we lived in our village or city or whatever, people lived in fear, because anyone could come into town and just murder, rape, steal, take whatever they want, and there was nothing that we could do about it. So we kind of had this constant like underlying fear. And I had this inner knowledge that I could help people and show them how to calm themselves enough. And I knew that if we could get calm, we could get to our intuition, and we could gain the information and knowledge to protect ourselves. And so what was happening as I was showing these women how to do that, they were becoming empowered, and their men did not like that. So my hypnotist says, were you a witch? And I didn't hear anyone call me a witch. I didn't see that anyone called me a witch, but it's kind of the vibe that would go with historically what happens, that people see something they don't understand and take it the wrong way, and can see that they're not able to control you anymore. And so that's kind of the vibe that I got with that nobody understood, or not nobody, but the certain group of men, and not all of the men, but a certain group of men did not like it and did not care to understand what it was. So they dragged me into the alley, and this was the alley that I started out in, but now it was daytime. And she said, "How did they kill you?" And I said, "They threw rocks at me, and they killed me with rocks and stones." Now, I didn't see it happen, I didn't feel that part, but an all over, like a knowing just came over me, and I knew that that's what happened. And then I could feel, I was emotional about it. So that is a brief. Now, there were other things that came through, but that's like the main story, and really that was the only past life that I went to. And when you learn about this, you realize and you come to know that your subconscious gives you the most important story that you need to know for the moment that you're in. And I believe I was given this story as the answer to my question about my heart. And it relates to that because I have been feeling so much fear and anxiety from what's going on in the world, from what's going on in my personal life, from learning how to cope and deal with death and rebirth, and it's just like really overwhelming right now. And that I think that energy was coming through me, and I know that I'm supposed to practice and learn how to soothe myself and calm myself and center myself and get to my intuition and trust it so deeply so that I can show other people how to do that. So right now, boy, am I being prepared. I mean, like, whoa. And something that's really important that I want to say to everybody right now is that yes, we all have our differences. We all have different beliefs, and everyone has their own truth. So what is true for me is absolutely true for me. And what is true for you is absolutely true for you. And it's most definitely different. There might be some similarities, but mostly we're all different. So we have to trust ourselves when our body is telling us something. And it just starts right now. Just start trusting it right now. And we don't have to explain or make any sense of it at the time. We just need to follow it. So, for example, there's been a couple of times recently where I just have this overwhelming, I have this overwhelming, it feels like fear, but it feels like somebody's just hitting me on my chest, like my heart is beating like this. And the outside circumstances seem, nothing's chaotic or anything, but I'm in a situation where I feel super uncomfortable. And my heart is like, oh my God, get out of there. And logically, it doesn't really make sense to flee the area because nothing super extreme is going on, but it doesn't matter. If you feel that, get out of there. If you feel like you have to say no, that your heart's beating or something about your body is signaling you to say no, say no. If it's signaling you to say yes, say yes. And don't worry about why. Just listen. So that's what I wanted to share. I think that's all. I should have made notes, but I didn't. I'm just sitting in the car waiting for my daughter. My hypnotist, her name is Rita, and I'm going to be in contact with her again, and I'm actually going to do a video talking with her and share that with you guys too, so you can see if you kind of feel comfortable with her or resonate with her at all. And if you are interested in doing this, please send me a message and I will give you her information. Okay? So, let me know how you like this, and again, any questions, just either comment or send me a message and I would be happy to answer those for you. Okay? Thank you all, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.